Oh, yeah, yeah. Look at that. Unos taquitos, una pirata aquí en el whiskey barrel. My wife got the pirata. I got the gringa. Delicious food. No, hombre, echarle un poquito de salsita ahí. No, hombre, cállate, shut up. Qué bárbaro. Va a estar bien sabroso. Aquí está la comida en el whiskey barrel. Desen la vuelta si pueden y pues ya saben, aquí se pone de aquellas. Y en la tarde están las virongas bien frías y los tacos bien sabrosos. Sústame one time.
But that one guy,
But Henry was like when you
Also
and Henry
the
were
manager at the same time.
but y'all were living in the car for a few years, practicing in Alice, and trying to get the deal going to
Trying
be able
to
to get
structure
word.
something what we have. You know what made it worse? To make me not want to go home. My dad was so upset that my dad and David Deanda, they got together and they made their own band called Los Chavalos.
Mhm.
So he made a band trying to show me and my brother that they could beat us.
Mhm.
So my dad joined David Deanda. And David Deanda didn't like me. He was already mad at me. And
Yeah.
so they made a band called Los Chavalos.
Well, you had youth on your side. Your dad was a lot older, and you had all the time in the world to get this thing going, man.
But
How long did you live in that car?
over a year,
Yeah,
off and on.
and
Yeah,
then what
at a
hap-
hotel once in a while. And, lived in
And
the
then what
car.
happened after that year?
Well, after that, and I started hearing things like, I would call my mom once in a while, like, how's dad doing, this and that. Oh, let me talk to him. He's asleep right now. I said, oh, well, okay. Well, if he's asleep, fine,
Mm-hmm.
And
But Henry was the one that was managing you, and you all were living in the car. And
Mhm.
then after that 1 year, what happened? Did he book some gigs? Did he
He
get
was-
some
he
record
was-
label interest?
he was getting gigs from what we already had. And at the same time, he was doing a lot of reading.
What were they paying back then, dude? Like when you guys were playing, man?
Golly.
I mean, it
Probably
wasn't
$1,000 a show.
Yeah, right. I mean,
Yeah,
come
800
on.
to 1,000 probably a show.
And then you do 3 shows a week, I mean.
Well-
and it was pretty good money back then, probably because of the gas was like 70, 80 cents a gallon.
Right? No kidding. But at the same time, I have to hand it to my brother that at the same time that we were spending a lot of, we were trying to get our group together. He was a lot educated, and he would tell me, "Come on, learn how to." Computers weren't that big yet coming out, the DOS computers and stuff.
Mhm.
And I started getting interested in the computer a little bit. And he started saying, come on, learn how to do a contract. Because he had an attorney in California, and he would ask him questions and try to make a contract of ourselves. And back then, we didn't have copies or nothing. I had to type the contract. And if I messed it up, I had to retype the contract again.
And then
over
you-
and over. I typed
Yeah.
all night, and I was doing contracts. It took me like 10 hours to do
Back
4
then, we didn't
contracts.
know anything about the accounting and
nothing.
and records and IRS and all that shit.
No.
No, man, that shit. You know what? That came back to haunt a lot of musicians,
Yes.
man. So,
So then, while that's going on, 2 bands are going on.
Uh-huh.
And when I called my mom, said I talked to my dad, and I remember Edward or Juan, somebody said, hey, because we were in Alice. And that time we had a school bus now. So we were sleeping in a school bus at a mechanic shop because something broke down. So we're in the school bus, and they said, hey, well, I said, get on the radio, look. I turned on the radio in Alice, Texas. And I said, what is it? I turned on, I'm listening. And you hear the DJ go, oh, tenemos una sorpresa, mira lo que está pasando, es que el otro. And me dijeron ahorita que ya no hay chamacos. Se quebraron los discos, and I could hear my dad, yeah, se acabó los chamacos. And David too, yeah, they sound like they're breaking our records. No more chamacos. They sound like we're breaking records. And they're saying, no, it's just nothing but chavalos. So I'm mad at my mom thinking, she just told me he was asleep in Houston at home. What's he doing here in Alice on the radio station? So families, we were arguing more. And
Wow,
Henry's
that's
like,
crazy,
Henry would
man.
tell me, you see, they don't care about you and this and that. And
So
not realizing
Henry? How long was Henry with you, man?
15 years.
From like 1985 to 19
Almost 2000.
Almost 2000.
And within that time, yeah, he structured me. Yeah, he taught me, shine your boots, look good, your presence is important, stay away from your fans, try to be professional. If you want to be like Michael Jackson at the time, all these people here, you need to act like them. And this and I said, well, how can I be like them? Well, I wish I made the money they made too, even though back then. I said, but I was so angry at my family back and forth and trying to understand. And he would make me iron He would make me clean house. He'd make me wash dishes. He would make me learn how to
kind of structured you as far as being
before you know,
disciplined.
Here, after that, here iron my
He was
pants
a
too and iron
military.
my shirt.
He was a military guy.
Yes, he would flip a nickel on the bed and make the bed tight and figure out how to do. I mean,
how long was Juan P. Moreno with you?
Same time.
So
he was with me all that time too. Yeah,
and Manuel was the first one to kind of get out, right?
No, Juan P.
Juan P. got out first.
Well, you see, 1P at the time that we're making money and learning about, we had to buy equipment.
Mm-hmm.
We had to buy little things here and there. And, you know, hey, they're all like kids. What does every actor do that you're young and you're getting a little money here? Well, you start spending it.
Mm-hmm.
And you start wanting more.
Yeah.
Well, you start having friends. You start partying with them.
And there was a lot of partying, bro. I mean,
back then,
I know Juan P. Moreno podíamos en de aquella de él. I mean, when he was he had his band with his brothers, you know.
Yeah.
Good people, man, bien buena gente y todo. So then, you guys, se salió Juan P. Moreno, se salió Manuel Alvarado, and then you picked up, Edward stuck by you.
But then I was already with Freddie Records.
Uh-huh.
So we had an audition about saying we're looking for a bajo player. And
that was during the 90s, right?
Yeah.
About
right
95?
close to 2000.
Close to 2000. Man, I didn't realize.
Almost. Yeah.
I didn't realize Juan P. Moreno was with you because I remember.
Because after a while was Johnny Lee.
Yeah, because I
found him.
I remember I was working at KIWW in like 94, 95, and you and Henry would come by in the vans and stuff, and I knew it was you and Edward, but I really don't remember seeing Juan P. Moreno back then, man.
Well, I was doing all the talking and stuff, and my brother was making me, learn a lot about. You need to learn how to talk when you're doing it. You need to listen to other artists, how they speak, and this and that. He was.
So during the 90s, when all those big record labels from California came down, you were signed with Freddie?
Yeah. My first, after this was Diana, when I was with Johnny Canales, Johnny knew a lot of people already. So he knew this man called Maximo Aguirre. Maximo Aguirre was Juan Gabriel's manager at the time. So between Freddie Records and Maximo Aguirre, Johnny was telling us, look, these guys here are going to form a record label. And I told him about you, and I would like you to record with them, except they're out of Beverly Hills, California. And we're like, wow, really? So what would they know about over here, Texas music, Yeah. Well, he said, record some of it over here, and then let's go and listen to the songwriters he have, and let's talk with them and see what he thinks. And my brother was telling me, he says, wow. Well, when they took us to Beverly Hills, California, they took us in this fancy studios, and we're walking down Rodeo, and we're like, we're in dreamland. We couldn't believe this happening. That's where we recorded El Lejado del Diablo, where we're wearing like almost different colored jackets. They're like bling bling, but they're sequins.
Yeah.
And we started finding costumes and something like that to wear, and that's why I found my big old ostrich boots that are in California, in Hollywood. Because we were staying there a few days.
And during that time, it was, Juan P. and them were with
Juan
you.
P. Manuel, was still with me. And it was
so did you sign with those guys?
I signed with them. It's called Herendira Records.
Was it a good move for you when you did it?
I think the good move about it was, wow, you're signing with Warner. He was a part of Warner Brothers.
Okay, big label.
So the label's big, and you can.
But did they know what to do with you?
Exactly. Now,
did they?
When we come back to Texas, it was like they weren't here all the time to see what's going on. They had a different kind of, different way of promotion.
And they have other artists that have priority, and that's what happens, man.
And we gave it a shot,
How long were you with them?
We did one album.
One album, and then
the second album that almost came out, but I think they made a poster. Well, they messed up because it's supposed to be Los Chamacos con su amigo Johnny Canales. Well, the poster said Johnny Canales y sus amigos Los Chamacos.
Okay.
So like a few print came out and they stopped it.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't right.
Yeah.
So we recorded like one or two songs, so we didn't get to finish the album and stopped right there.
And
so
the contract.
We went into a lawsuit.
Yeah, you went into a lawsuit.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Well, Henry knew attorneys in Beverly Hills, California too, so back and forth.
But still, man, that's a lot of crap you got to go through, man.
Exactly.
So you were still binded to them. And you
fighting with them,
and you couldn't get any music out,
exactly. So what we were doing then, we were playing so many songs. Me and Juan on stage in Manuel, we didn't know that we were doing potpourri of songs now.
Yeah, I remember those. That one that's a whole side of an album.
Oh yeah, so
it was just one song after the next.
We did these potpourris in our live shows that people were getting interested and were liking it.
Yeah,
and we said, man, we we were practicing so much, and
So how long was that lull between all that legal stuff going on?
It was over